Hi guys, welcome back to RIBESE'S Musings, where reality meets authenticity with your personal encourager, Ribese. Today is yet another day. I'm excited to come to you once again in this space where we talk about life, we talk about it honestly and authentically. I'm glad that you are able to hold space for this conversation. And if you're new here, you're really much welcome. Would you consider subscribing? And by the way, happy new month! Happy new month, June. The Lord has been good, He has been faithful. We are now into half of the month of 2026, and it's really a testimony to see a new day, a new month. So, congratulations and happy new month. Yeah, so today is another special day where we get to delve a little um, deeper still into the topic of mental health, which I have been discussing over the last month. Because it was a mental health awareness month, but today it takes a different angle because it's Q&A. Yes, I say Q&A because I got a few friends to ask me random questions about mental health, especially based on what we had discussed earlier. And so on this episode, I will attempt to answer some of the questions that I got on the topic of mental health. Come on in. Let's begin. Question one is, when you struggle mentally, how easy is it for you to open up? And how would you guide someone in the same situation? Yeah, so this question, the person asking wants to know how it is easy for me to open up when I have a mental health maybe struggle. And I think for me, how I would say is that right now, because I am aware that it's easy to get into a mental health struggle because of one reason or another, it's not difficult for me to open up. And of course, I remember even in my previous episode saying that one of the best ways to address any mental health struggle is to have a support system or an accountability system. So for me, I feel like I'm at a place where I am not able to be put down with issues that maybe would previously put me down, especially maybe to feel depressed or to feel like I'm alone. No, because I have I have a support system and people who I feel like I can be vulnerable with and not feel judged. Yeah, so that is it's not hard for me to actually pick a mental health issue and maybe share with someone because I have a support system around me. And how I would guide someone in the same situation, first of all, is to say that what overwhelms someone when when they're going through a struggle because of a particular issue is because either they have not built a system around them. So I would encourage anyone to first of all have a support system where you are able to comfortably share a matter and not feel judged and not feel condemned. Of course, support systems, I mean friends, I mean family, I mean maybe a church community. There are people who are around our lives to help us do life, you know. So if you don't have people around you who you can walk with and talk with, sometimes even when something is not hard, something which is so easy to address becomes difficult because you are either all alone or you don't have a system that you feel can support you. So that is how I would advise anyone at first to handle it. Yes. So, question two. Question two says, what does being there actually look like for you when you are low? Would you prefer calls, texts, or just silence? So, this, if I understand this question, it means that normally when people are going through a difficult season, you get many people telling you, I'm there for you, I'm here for you. So what does that look like for me? And I think I will really tie it to my first question, where I can say that because I have a system around me, I feel like the people who know me understand when I need a call, or when I need silence, or when I need maybe a text. But I feel like that all these apply especially to me, but in different stages. And also it's good when people know you. It's good, it's easy for you to communicate that yes, I'm not okay, but I think some space would do, or you can call me at this time, because again, you also don't, even if you're not okay, you also don't want like to be overwhelmed with calls or texts. So I can't say like there's a specific um one of these that really works for me, but they all work at different stages. And I think it's because when you understand yourself, or when people around you understand you, so even if you are going through a hard time and maybe people don't call you, you won't feel like they don't care, because they already know that this one, if we give her a call, she'll be okay. If I tell her I am with her, she understands, because we have a system going. So I think it varies for me and for anyone. So, and I think it's good to communicate for anyone who feels like when people tell them I'll be there for you, and they are not reciprocating. I think it's good to communicate, especially to the people that, of course, these are my people. Communicate that I expect you to call me, or I expect you to text me, or I expect you to visit me. I mean, I think sometimes it all boils down to communication. So for me, when somebody tells me they're there for me, I will actually communicate and tell them, of course, you can actually visit, or you can give me some space. I feel like I'm very comfortable communicating when I feel like if somebody does not understand, or or when I want somebody to serve me in a particular way. Yes. So the third question is, when you are mentally unstable, does reassurance help you to feel less alone? Yeah, so I think how I can say this is that every so often somebody will become mentally unstable because of something. Sometimes because of work, sometimes because of course these situations that we're talking about that cause us to have a mental health struggle, they don't announce themselves, they just come. So I think when for me, reassurance really works. And especially if I trust somebody to tell them I'm not okay. Of course, sometimes it's not like you want somebody to give you a solution, because most of the time solutions come over time. But a word of encouragement goes a long way. Or if just somebody tells you, I understand, I've also been through this, or so and so went through this and they made it. I feel like that kind of reassurance, it really helps me to actually navigate through whatever I need to navigate through. And I think at this point, I need to say that sometimes if somebody comes and tells you, like, I'm not okay because of something, even if that thing looks like it's so simple, like somebody maybe tells you, like, I'm not okay because somebody uh, told me a demeaning word. Somebody told me like I'm stupid or something. For you, who has overcome such a thing, it may be like, that is childish. Just ignore. But sometimes when somebody comes and tells you that somebody has hurt me because they told me a demeaning word, do not just brush them off, or do not tell them, you're new taught, or like that is nonsense. Ignore. No, because something that may look small to you may not be small to another person. So it is always good to be a reassuring person. It's always good to be a person who encourages somebody, and not a person who belittles a person when they have actually confided in you. And I think I've also probably gone through that, where you are going through a matter, and of course it's not it's not easy, and you just want somebody to validate you, like it's okay, don't worry, and then the person tells you, that one you deal with it, or just somebody just brushes you off. It is not empathetic. So whenever somebody is going through any form, because again, right now, the place where we are at, anything can be a trigger to a bigger thing. So when somebody comes and tells you, like, I'm not okay because of something that may look small to you, probably it is just a projection of a bigger thing that they are not talking about. So reassurance really works. And anytime somebody comes to you, even if whatever they're saying does not make sense to you, try and tell them a good word, an encouraging word, a word of comfort, so that the person is able to actually come out over on the other side. And most of the times I've seen that when I reassure somebody, or when I am reassured, it only takes a short time, and then I'm back to myself, and I actually ask myself, why was that thing bothering me? Yeah, so it's always good to be kind. It's always good to have words of encouragement. It's always good to just extend an olive branch to people, and not to brush off or to joke about everything. Yeah. So I hope that helps. And maybe the second last question that I would say I got was, when a friend is struggling, do you usually wait for them to ask, or do you reach out first? I think friendships matter. Friendships vary. And of course, there are friends who, there are different levels of friendship. And so I think it depends. In my case, it depends with how I know that person. Because there are people who you can actually just go to them directly and tell them, I think you're not okay. How can I come in and support you? Or there are people who actually, maybe another person is able to address their matter better. So for me, how I address supporting friends, I think it's really about how I know them, because there's somebody who I can actually just tell, I think you look like you're not okay. I'll be praying for you about it, or can I pray for you about it? But there's a friend whom I can ask, do you want me to help you walk through this, whatever you're going through, because we have a connection that can make that person to be vulnerable. So I feel like when it comes to friendship, it's good to know your friends. It's good to know how far you've come. And also, there are friends, of course, who you're not to tell everything, because you know their personality. Maybe it's a friend who, if you can tell, they're not bad, but they cannot keep a secret, or they don't have the empathy enough to work with you through. It's not like that, but they're not just wired to support in such situations. So when you know your friends, you know how to um share without feeling like my friends are not supporting me, or I'm not supporting them enough. So I think it's really just a matter of knowing your friends, knowing this is the far I can go with this person. Or and then they also talk about different levels of friendship. There is acquaintance, there is a colleague, there is confident. So when you know who is in which category, then it's easy to know how to address them, or how to support them when they are struggling, or even when you yourself you're struggling. Yeah, so I think I'll take the last question. There were a number, but I'll just take the last one, which is the fifth question. So this one says, how can we check up on people without making it feel like an interrogation? Yeah, I think I understand this question, because sometimes you may get somebody is going through a matter, you want to support them, but you also don't know how far you should go with that person. So I feel like in this, how I think I can advise is that, um of course, I think it also connects to the friendship thing, because again, when you actually have to get to an extent of you need to check up on somebody, it's because you have some sort of relationship. So again, it also boils down to how much do you know this person, how much do you interact, how have you interacted with them, how much trust have you put on them. And then again, it also depends with the matter, because sometimes some matters are very sensitive, which need some bit of wisdom. Some matters are just kawaida or regular matters. So it depends. And also, if it's a sensitive matter, there's always a way to address it. You just don't go straight to somebody and attack the matter, like you have to apply some wisdom. First of all, you have to create an environment so that even if you're interrogating, you just don't come straight and say, I hear so and so say that this and this and this. Is it true or not? No, you may not get the feedback that you want. But if you actually can create a ground and tell, and of course, just don't just go straight to somebody. Know how they feel, know how they are, how they feel. If it's okay for you to ask them, actually you need to get permission. Is it okay for me to ask you something? Are you in a position? Because again, you may want to ask a question, but somebody is not in the right mood about it. And then again, once you have asked that question, or once you have interrogated whatever you needed to do, you also need to finish with an assurance of telling them that, of course, I am just doing it out of concern. I wish you well. I respect your decisions, so that you also don't come off as combative or something. Because again, you also always want to leave people with their dignity. Whatever the issue you're dealing with, you always need to leave people with their dignity. Yeah, so I think well, there's one interesting one that I will finish with, is saying, have you ever been surrounded by people but still felt alone? What was missing? Yeah, so this question is interesting, because it's true that sometimes you may actually be in a place or be interacting with people that there's like, you're so connected, but then again you still feel alone. And I think how I can say this is that sometimes it's not always that you will get help from people. And that is why it's also good to know yourself. It's also good to know that um not it's not always that people will have solutions for you, and sometimes it's not always that people will understand you, because even you, sometimes you don't understand yourself. So I would also want to say that in a situation where you sometimes you feel like you're not understood, or you feel like uh, these people don't, well, really just they don't understand me, you need to really extend grace to people and extend grace to yourself. Just understand that it's not always that people will get you, and it's okay, because sometimes you also even don't get yourself. And even if you share with somebody and then you feel like they don't get you, don't get offended, because um sometimes people always just try their best, but they are not able. And also, it's good to think good about people, think good about circumstances, and be able to encourage yourself, like be able to um be somebody who is not really dependent on people's validation, because it's not always that people will validate you. It's not always that people will be on the same page with you, even if you're right. Sometimes you'll just disagree with people for the reason, for that, like you because of how you view things and how they view things. So if you get yourself in a place where you feel like you're not understood, you feel like um you're not clicking, it's okay. Sometimes it's okay not to be understood, so that you are able to get grounding from within you. So I think maybe that would be it from the questions that I received. But before that, I want to just get a word of encouragement from the Bible, because that has become our norm. And it will come from the book of First Samuel chapter 30 verse 6. First Samuel chapter 30 verse 6, which says, David was greatly distressed because the men were talking of stoning him. Each one was bitter in spirit because of his sons and daughters. But David found strength in the Lord his God. Other version says, but David encouraged himself in the Lord. So I felt like this verse is connects to this topic, even as you're coming to the end, in the sense that sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Most of the times, what makes people go down or what makes people get overwhelmed is because they don't have an ability to encourage themselves. They don't have an ability to look to God for help and for encouragement. And therefore, they're always looking at who can help me, who is not helping me, who is not understanding me. And just as the last question asked, it's not always that people will encourage you, because people are going through their own issues, their own struggles. So while people may really want to encourage you, they don't have the capacity to meet all your needs. So it's good to always encourage yourself, because even in this case, it's saying the people who wanted to stone David, they were also distressed. Especially right now, people are so distressed. So if you put all your hope in people, you will definitely get a mental health issue. But if you know that, yes, I may get help from people, but even if I don't, I will still be strong and I will still be able to maneuver. You just find yourself okay, you find yourself stable, you find yourself nothing shakes you. So that is it, my viewer. I hope this series on mental health has really been encouraging to you. I look forward to your feedback. If you have any other questions, you can share and we will definitely find a way of addressing them. But before we go, I think I want to just say a short prayer. So let us believe and pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for this episode and for the person who has watched. And thank you that you have assured us that there is help. And even if we don't get help from people because of their limitations, we can always come to you, and we can always find help, we can always find encouragement, we can always find stability. And therefore, I pray for anyone who is watching and in one way or another they don't have a stability, that they will get it from you, because you are the one who stabilizes us even in our mental health situations. I give you thanks and I give you praise. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Yeah. So having said that, that's marks the end of our episode. Thank you for holding space. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't, and I look forward to continuing and engaging with you in the next episode. Until next time, bye bye.